Hey, sixth graders! We are on lesson 2.1 and we are going to be reading an article called Listening to Earth, where we are going to learn what the inside of the earth sounds like. Before we do that, we are going to briefly talk about some of the vocab words that are going to come up and get a better understanding of those before we do the reading so that we can really understand, engage, and comprehend what we're learning today. So there are two types of plate boundaries that you have probably already seen in the simulation. I know you saw these words, and we're going to better explain them, or I'm going to better explain them right now. So we have a convergent plate boundary, which means that they are coming together. So converge means coming together, which means that I have two plates that are going to, whoops, let's get the camera, two plates that are going to come together. And as you can see with my hands, I naturally put one on top of the other, and the same thing actually happens with our plate boundaries when they come together. So convergent plate boundaries are where two boundaries will come together, move towards each other, and one plate will be slowly forced underneath the other one. The other type of plate boundary is a divergent plate boundary, and that means that they're moving apart. So in a divergent plate boundary, the boundaries are moving away from each other, and as they move away from each other, if my hands were the boundaries, they would be moving away from each other, and then the mantle would come up, and then that would cool and create rock in between my hands here in that little gap. You're going to explore this a little bit more today and in the next few parts of this lesson, so just hang tight for me on those. All right, so the first vocab word is landform, which is a feature that forms on the surface of a planet, such as a mountain, channel, or sand dune. We have a trench, which is a long, deep indentation in the ocean floor formed when two plates move together. Surface, the outside or top layer of something. A plate, which is one very large sections of hard, solid rock that make up Earth's outer layers. Remember that the whole outer layer is made of hard, solid rock, and the plate is kind of the thing that defines them. So if we took our plate and we cracked it, or like a dinner plate and cracked it and put it back together, that'd be a good example, and those lines would be those boundaries that we see, the plate boundaries. An earthquake, a sudden shaking of Earth's surface. A convergent is moving toward the same place. Mantle, the soft layer, the soft solid rock underneath Earth's plates. Volcanic activity is any of the many processes, such as eruptions and lava flows, in which gas, lava, and ash are pushed into the surface of Earth and into our atmosphere. Divergent is when we're moving apart in different directions. A mid-ocean ridge is an underwater mountain range formed when two plates are moving apart. Eruptions, the sudden pushing out of something such as lava from a volcano. We also could look at eruptions from geysers. Patterns, something we observe to be similar over and over again. So remember we looked at those earthquake patterns on that earthquake map, and we could see that they were happening along the plate boundaries. Rate, how often or how fast something happens. So as we get into the simulation, we will have this time clock up here and we'll be able to watch this. So this is going to tell us that something either happens really fast or really slow. And so the rate at which something moves is going to be a very helpful thing to be thinking about and a term to know. And remember that as we get into this lesson, you are going to be reading. You're going to need to get one of the articles from the purple baskets in the back of the room and annotate that article. You remember that you have three options. You have your circle, your square, and your diamond. And for each of these options in your assignment is an audio. And I highly recommend clicking on that audio and listening to the article being read to you and following along with it. Choose the article that is best for you. Remember, if you can fly through it, understand everything, and read it in a minute or so, it's probably a little too easy and we need to slow down and either pick something harder or really dig deeper into that article. And again, use the audio. You're going to be turning in these articles to the teacher, so you make sure that you put them in the turn-in pile at the end of class. And you got this. Reading is great and it's going to help you better understand, so keep at it. Remember that you should be actively reading, so we're thinking carefully about what we're reading, so paying attention to what we understand, and what we don't understand is just as important. So if something doesn't make sense, you should highlight or circle it and say, hey, I don't understand this. Can someone help me? We're going to annotate the text by writing on it and highlighting it and highlight challenging words and adding notes and asking questions. We're going to look at all of the visuals so that we can understand and put pictures to the words to kind of make that connection. And then we're going to discuss what we're reading with others. So after you've read the text, turn to somebody who's already read it and say, hey, what did you think? Or what did you learn? And you're going to be writing about this in your notebook. So having a conversation is just going to engage and deepen your understanding even more. I hope that you enjoyed this text and learning about how we can use hydrophones to listen to the earth, actually hear the earth, the inside. So I hope that you really, truly enjoyed this. And remember, today is a great day to learn. It's a great day to read too. Happy learning.